Friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm super excited to see you guys here again. We've got a 25-pound piece of beef, and I'm going to show you guys how you can save some money at the grocery store with this. So friends, I don't know if you've noticed lately, every time you go to the grocery store, beef is so expensive, especially ground beef of all things, which makes absolutely no sense to me. They're literally taking some meat, they're cutting it down and grinding it. And yes, we make a lot of dishes with it in this country, so it is a well sought out commodity. But I mean, honestly, should you really be paying $10 a pound for ground beef? I don't think so. I picked up this top round. This is a whole top round of beef. It weighs 25 pounds. Let me show you guys. I mean, the label's a little funky, but it's fine. I got it for $3.48 a pound. Now, this made me a little bit sad because not a year and a half ago, you could get this on sale at a grocery store nearby for like $1 a pound, $1.50 a pound. And now we're at the sale price, like rush and get it, $3.48 a pound. So I paid $89.30 for this meat. Now the non-sale price for this is $7.28 a pound at a whopping $186.80. I don't know if you can see that very well there. I paid $89.30 for the sale price. I saved almost $100 on this. Now, the store that was selling this offers butchering. They do, and it's for free, but they're limited. Like, there's so many people in line waiting to get their meat processed that they're pretty much asking you, do you want it cubed, like for stew, ground, or steaks? That's it. And that's not what I want. Well, it is what I want, but it's not what I want. What I want to do today is take a moment and show you guys all the different things that you can get from this. If your grocery store offers free butchering and there aren't 8 million people in line like they were the day I bought this a couple days ago, then you have more opportunity to ask for different things. And that's what I want to show you guys, because sometimes you go to the grocery store and you want to make a stir fry. So you will go to the meat section and you will find where there are the packages of stir fry meat. And that's great. It's a huge savings, but that stir fry meat will cost, I don't know, roughly $6 a pound, sometimes 10. It depends on the grocery store. That comes from this. So if you're seeing top round roast for $2 a pound, $2.50 a pound, and the stir fry meat is, I don't know, let's say $6 a pound. Well, you can take that top round roast at $2, $2.50 a pound to the butcher and say, hey, can you turn this into stir fry sliced for me? I want it at the top round roast price. Because why would you pay extra for the same meat? All they're doing is cutting it against the grain. So let's get into this. We are going to save some money today. Friends, this part is a but it can be a tough cut of meat from this whole section. We're going to remove a lot of this fat cap that's up top here. I have 2 different knives. Let me just show you. From what you can imagine, this one takes off more. You can use a regular chef's knife for this, so a regular utility knife. And this one is a lot finer. Now, traditionally, this is a fillet knife for like fish fillets, but when you really need to get in there and remove some pieces, this guy helps a lot. This is a little bit more brutal. Extremely sharp though, so you want to be careful. Now, when you're taking off this cap of fat, always remember, by the way, when it comes to meat, just like I've showed you in the turkey videos, if you haven't seen those, I'll link those for you. But the meat kind of wants to separate itself. It wants to come apart. All those different muscle groups want to do that. So we're going to take this cap of fat off, trying to remove as little meat as we possibly can. So we're trying to remove as little meat as we possibly can. That's why I'm very gentle. And if you want to see with the other knife, this guy really slides in there well. That's why I like it so much. Now, this fat is a gristly fat. You don't want to keep it on there for your cooking. It's not going to break down well. See, that's trash. But just like everything else, it kind of wants to come apart from where it is, and we are going to help it along. Just being super gentle, careful always, and always remembering where your hands are. I'm going to remove any of this gristly fat from the outside, just kind of squaring off the meat, trimming all this funkiness off. It's okay to leave a little bit of fat, but we don't want a whole ton. Now I'm being very gentle with this piece of meat here. That is the cap. In a lot of butchering, they will remove that cap and it will be part of your grind. I'm gonna keep it because that cap is used in a very traditional Cuban dish. It is the national dish of Cuba, and that's called ropa vieja, or old clothes in translation. It's extremely delicious. So I'm gonna keep that whole. This bottom tip piece down here, it's very gristly and funky. Okay, just remove that and we're good. All right, friends, so now that we have that like that, I'm still gonna have to trim a little bit more of the funk, like I like to call it, but we're doing okay right now. I am gonna come in here. You see how this is kind of wanting to pull apart? Right there, just like that. Slide the tip of the knife under. Get myself a little corner piece here. And then I am going to gently just separate that cap. So just, you see that, how it just kind of wants to pull apart? It's just like the turkeys. This is a little harder, obviously, because it's a larger piece, but it still wants to do the same thing. It still wants to pull, the muscles want to pull apart. You just have to work slow. Now, butchers do this much faster. They have many, many years of practice. We don't do this every day. I'm just carefully rolling this out. there's your cap. So this will make for a family of 3 or 4. I will slice this in half and have this side and this side. This is gonna cook similar to like a flank steak, right? So you can use a flank to do like a ripped up kind of meat, kind of like a pulled beef, so to speak, if you slow cook it. It's very similar. You're gonna slice this down the center. You have 2 meals out of this, and then this will slowly cook down, and you see these tiny fibers, all of this meat grain. It'll break apart. It'll be a beautiful stringy dish. I'll show you guys in another video how to make it. It's super delicious. So I'm gonna set this aside because I'll clean it up in a minute. Let's get into this top round. And I'm gonna show you how like simple it is to get different cuts out of this. Things that you're used to paying a little bit extra. So I'm gonna trim this extra fat, any silver skin off of this. This is a very lean piece of meat. That's why they use it for roasts, stew meat, for grinding, because it is a hard meat. There's no marbling to it whatsoever. But with a little bit of finesse, you will have a beautiful, tender piece of meat. All right, friends, so now that we have our top round, I'm going to use half of this for grinding, or maybe a little less, around, let's say about this much. Yeah? Yeah, right there. So I'm gonna take this whole piece and just cut it in half. Okay? I want to take a second and look at this. That's your top round on the inside cut. This is also known as a top round roast. So if you're purchasing this at the store, here's your roast. How do you get this roast cut? You'll slice it about an inch thick. So I always use my first knuckle on my thumb to think of an inch. Actually, let's do 2 inches for a top round roast. So bring that down. I'm using the half that I'm gonna grind to show you guys this, since I'm gonna grind it anyways. There's your top round roast. We'll set that aside. We're gonna go an inch thick. Now I would trim this part here to clean it up. That's essentially a London broil. Now we're gonna take much thinner steak sizes. I didn't cut that right, whatever. But a much thinner steak and you have top round steaks. And then if you come in, let's take these little pieces off, make it pretty. And now I'm cutting, here's your grain pattern right there. It's moving this way, cutting against the grain. Real thin. Really, really thin slices of steak like that. You pound these out and you have sandwich steaks. Nice and thin little steaks like that. Just to give you an idea. And then if you take something like this London broil, for instance, slice it really, really thinly like this, nice and thin like that. you have stir fry. So you see what I'm saying? There's no point in paying $6 or $7 for this, or $9.99 for this, or $10 a pound for this, when I just paid $3 a pound, $3.48 a pound for all this meat. It's just a little know-how. If you know what it is and you know where it comes from, then you know what to ask for at the grocery store. So you can save a little bit of money. Now, because we're using this to our advantage, using the cross cut, it's about knowing your grain. That's what makes a cut like this tender, is knowing your grain. If you see, bring that in nice and close, that the meat grains run like this, then you cut it like this. You have a tender piece of meat. Now, you don't want to take a London broil and throw it on the grill and cook it to well done, because it doesn't matter what cross cut you use, it will not be tender. This is a tough cut of meat. So always cook it a little pink. But that's all it takes to make a stir fry. Or some stew meat. Just like that. And again, I'm not saying that you guys have to go out and buy all of these different tools or go spend $100 on a big chunk of meat if you've never done it. But if you know what to ask for, then you can save a bunch of money. And that's my goal in this video, to help my friends save a buck. I'm going to finish processing this and we'll be back in a minute. So friends, I have been using the KitchenAid grinder for so many years, like so many years. I love it. This is my friend. We are good buddies. But recently I was watching a video by the people over at More Than Farmers. Love your video, love your channel, love your family. They cut a little slit onto the side of their zip top bags and then just fit it over the top. Because if you've ever used one of these, you know that this thing spits and spatters all over the place. The meat can drop down the bottom and it catches all the spitting. In all my years, I can't believe I never thought of that. Thank you so much for the tip. I can't begin to express how grateful I am, because this saves me a whole lot of kitchen cleaning. Genius. All right, let's get into grinding. Friends, look at all of this. I did good. I did good. I'm so excited. So let's go through everything that I got. I spared you the details of the vacuum packing because I mean, it's allowed. Let me, honestly, quick second. Let's touch on how important a vacuum pack, like a vacuum machine is, vacuum sealer. I have a food saver. I've had it for so many years. This thing is old. I don't think they even sell this model anymore. I will link down below a few different models for you guys, like Amazon affiliate links if you're interested in it and if you want to start breaking into your own meat processing. This guy is amazing. It pulls all the air out. It holds your meat for a lot longer in the freezer than you would normally putting it in a zip top bag or anything like that. Honestly, worth its weight in gold. But let's get into this. Oh, I'm so excited. So I'm going to start with this guy right here. The one obvious, oops. I always have a Sharpie to label my stuff. See, like that. So I know, not just me, because I know what I put into this. But if my husband goes into the freezer to find something, he'll know what it is and he doesn't have to guess. Starting with this guy, in here I have 2 pounds of the ground beef. Now I'm separating this because I'm going to use this today, so this is going to go into the fridge for later use. But that guy was 2 pounds of ground beef. I have also packaged 5 packages, 1 pound each of ground beef. So that's a total of 7 pounds of ground beef. And we're talking a lean ground beef, not 75, 25, 30, whatever. I have seen, I mean, okay, when you're gonna make a burger, you want fat in your burger. That's how you end up with a juicy burger. But if you're gonna use it for like what I'm gonna use it for, which is a traditional Cuban dish, or Hispanic really, of picadillo, which is like a ground beef hash, so to speak. And you can put it into empanadas. Super delicious stuff, right? You don't want overly greasy meat because you're gonna pull all that grease out of the meat anyway, so you're not using it. It's not like for a burger where you're gonna have juicier meat because there's fat in it. No, you want the leaner stuff. So here we have, it's like adding 75, 25 ground beef to pasta sauce. You'd end up with a greasy pasta sauce, and that nobody wants that. So lean ground beef. In my store, lean ground beef, the 93:7 ratio was going for $9.99 a pound. I have 7 pounds, that's $70 right there alone. Just on this. I'm already winning because I paid $89 for the entire slab. So on ground beef alone, I have the equivalent of $70 worth of meat. The stew meat. I have 3 1-pound bags of stew meat. I don't even know how much that costs because I haven't even looked at it. It's been so expensive. I ended up with a package of 3 top round steaks because sometimes you just want a nice thin pounded out steak that's delicious. These have to be tenderized, but I'm perfectly fine with doing that. No big deal. I just bought a package last week of this from the store. $10.99 for 3 little steaks. Right there. These guys, this is the cap. Now I split it in 2, like I said, and these are gonna make 2 dishes. One is gonna go for ropa vieja, also known as old clothes, and that is the national dish of Cuba. It's super tasty, really delicious. I'll show you guys in another video how to make it. Another dish, also super traditional to Cuban food, is vaca frita, which means literally fried cow. So these little strings pull apart, and they're fried crispy with onions and garlic and just deliciousness. That's gonna go for this too, right there. That would have been ground. That would have been ground up. We're not doing that. We're saving our meat, making it delicious. And then one of my favorite things is a roast. This is a 3-pound top round roast. This is for a special dinner, something like that. If you guys haven't seen, I have a short on how to make a hoisin beef roast. I don't know if I can link that, but I'm gonna try to link it. Super easy, kind of like a set it and forget it kind of dish. And honestly, it is a showstopper. I'm not gonna lie, it is a showstopper. I have like a best friend that requests that for special occasions all the time. I love her. Anyways, friends, I saved a ton of money. Ground beef and just the top round steaks, and we're at what I paid. I don't know if you can see that. $89.30 is what I paid for that whole chunk of meat. So it's like buying the ground beef and the top round steaks and getting everything else for free. How do you lose? And I'm not telling you guys go out there and buy a big old chunk of beef and a vacuum packer. I'm not telling you to do that. But you know what to ask for when you go to the store. If you see this on sale for $2.50, you know that this can be ground, this can be stew, this can be steak, this can be so many things. I mean, if they slice it cross, it can be stir fry. It can be sandwich steaks. So many things. This is more than just a roast. So when you're looking at the circulars for your grocery stores and you see that something like this is $2.50 a pound on sale, make use of it. You can either buy this and break it down yourself. If there's a butcher, you can ask them, hey, can you take this and turn it into whatever I need? And they'll say yes. They're going to offer you what they have in the store, but that's marked up at a much higher price. If they have free butchering services, custom cuts, take advantage of it. It's there for a reason. It's for our use. I hope you guys learned a little something from my experiment here and from my past education. I learned how to break this stuff down when I was in culinary school many years ago, and I'm passing on the education to you guys because an educated people cannot be taken advantage of. Friends, thank you so much for being part of my day. I love you all so much. I appreciate you guys from the absolute bottom of my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're new here, consider subscribing. If you've been here, I love you. Give me a thumbs up. I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.